A stripper at a teenager's party turns into trouble. Hello, everyone. I'm Janine Rose.
And I'm Brian Coneybear. The parents of a Horace Greeley High School football player are now charged with 2 crimes after a team party at their Newcastle home. Police say one or more of the players hired a stripper, and she was caught in the act, with the parents allegedly witnessing it all and not putting a stop to it. News 12 Westchester's Tracy Everson is in the newsroom with details. Tracy?
Well, Brian, tonight there is outrage in Newcastle among parents, students, even the school superintendent for what went on. Robert and Rochelle Ween have been arrested after allowing their son and some of his high school football teammates to watch a stripper take it all off. No comment from 17-year-old Jeremy Ween as he leaves his James Road home in Newcastle. It was here over the weekend that the Horace Greeley football quarterback hosted a party along with his parents. Some of his teammates were there, so were other 15 to 17-year-olds. District Attorney Janine Pirro says the celebration for the end of summer training included alcohol, marijuana, and a strip act.
The evidence that we have is irrefutable that the parents were present as 15 and 16-year-olds licked whipped cream off of a stripper as they assisted the stripper in inserting various objects into her private part.
Hours before the party began, the woman featured in this ad for an Elmsford-based adult entertainment company was hired. A man who identified himself only as cousin Vinny told News 12 he employs the 31-year-old woman.
Am I responsible? Well, it's kind of hard to figure that out over the phone, you know. We do all our contracting over the phone.
Newcastle police say she was given $325 cash to perform at the party.
We believe that at least one youth or a group of youths placed a telephone call, looked in the yellow pages, and hired this stripper.
It was Saturday night around 9:15 when police were first called to 24 James Road. Reports of a loud party going on. They were back less than 2 hours later. It was then that an officer walked to the back of the property and saw a group of 50 or so kids standing around, as well as 2 adults watching a naked woman. Those 2 adults are Jeremy's parents, 50-year-old Robert Ween, an investment banker and lawyer, and his 48-year-old wife, Rochelle, a massage therapist. They're charged with 1 count each of endangering the welfare of a child and unlawfully dealing with a child, both misdemeanors. Some Horace Greeley High School students say they're outraged.
I think it's a disgrace to the school. I don't think things like that should be going on.
People do make mistakes, and I think he should be forgiven.
Chappaqua School Superintendent James Donovan says the school will not discipline any of those involved. Instead, he says the parents are to blame.
The ones who should be punished here are the people who were involved in it, the parents.
Now, the investigation continues. So far, no students have been charged, but the parents, Robert and Rochelle Ween, were issued appearance tickets and are due back in Newcastle Town Court to answer to the charges on September 13th. Brian, Janine, back to you.
All right, Tracy Everson in the newsroom, thank you very much. Well, this shocking case has people in the community talking, that's for sure, all about what's joining us now to discuss this very high-profile case is Westchester District Attorney Janine Pirro. Thank you very much for being here. We've heard these charges, endangering the welfare of a child, unlawfully dealing with a minor. Could there be more charges involved?
Well, we're still investigating along with the Newcastle Police Department to determine whether or not additional charges should be filed, and certainly if there's more evidence, we will file more charges.
Any students going to be charged with the crime here?
Well, right now it does not appear that that is going to be the case, but we're looking at all the facts and circumstances, and we ask all of the students who have information to cooperate with us and to assist us in this investigation.
Could you again go over the circumstances? We understand police had been called to the home once on Saturday on a noise complaint, then a second noise complaint, and when they returned, they actually found the stripper there performing?
That's exactly right, Janine. What happened was neighbors called because there was a noise complaint. Second time around, the police respond, and this time they go into the backyard, and they see a group of 30 to 40 young students, high schoolers, who are surrounding a stripper as she is engaging in sexual activity. And we're not just talking about a stripper, we're talking about someone who is actually doing things to herself and asking for audience cooperation and kids cheering each other on. That included the insertion of objects as well as the use of whipped cream and having kids take the whipped cream off while the parents watch.
Have you gotten complaints from other parents or other parents calling your office that were not aware that this was going on with their children in attendance?
Well, a lot of people are very concerned about what happened, and I think that the point here, Janine, is that when you have a child who's going to a party where there is a parent allegedly supervising, you can't be sure that they, number one, share the same standards or morals that you do, and number two, you have to make sure about what's going on. Here, parents were supervising. But the reality is that not only did they use poor judgment, they violated the criminal law of the state of New York.
It's a private home. Some folks say what goes on in a private home should be okay, but the violation comes because there were children there, correct?
The violation becomes, is essentially the result of young people being there drinking, smoking pot, engaging in this kind of sexual activity with a stripper while 30 to 40 people are watching. I mean, they're literally circling her. Everyone is watching, and this is illegal activity in New York State. It's not about what someone's doing in the privacy of their own home, in their own bedroom. There are laws that say that adults cannot permit young people to actually do this.
And this was not the first incident. I mean, Horace Greeley was in the news about 4 months ago with students involved in an internet project where there were some sexually explicit information on internet sites. Were you surprised to get this phone call?
I was disappointed, and the more I learned about the facts, the more I was outraged, Janine. I mean, this is an outrageous case. You know, you like to think that parents are supervising and that they supervise appropriately. Here, it was not only bad judgment, it was a violation of the penal law.
All right. Janine Pirro, Westchester District Attorney, thank you very much for joining us.
Always good to have you here. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. While some parents might be trying to stamp out gossip, others are perhaps too busy showing their kids a rollicking good time. How about that Chappaqua, New York couple facing a year in prison? The cops blew the whistle on the couple for a booze and pot party for the son's high school football team, where kids as young as 15 watched a stripper do what strippers do.
The only reason we got any news here is because it's Chappaqua, home of Bill Clinton, and because we got a lot of stuffy-nosed snoots up here in Westchester.
Perhaps we can get Cousin Vinny there to fill Tam's slot on the Take 5 rotation. But anyway, Chris, is this harmless fun or lock 'em up, book 'em Dano?
It's neither. It's this is a really rotten, immoral thing for these parents to do, and they should be, the community should be outraged. But as for sending them to jail, everyone went there freely. Not only the kids, but the parents of the kids who attended also have some moral responsibility to teach them to stay away from such things. So it's just a bunch of rotten people holding an immoral but not illegal party.
What do you mean not illegal? These kids are sitting around, these are minors. We're talking about 15-year-olds swilling beer, smoking pot, and inserting objects.
For 111 years? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
No, but we have vice laws, and we have laws to protect children, and if we're going to have them, then we have to apply them in Chappaqua if we're going to apply them other places. Otherwise, it looks like you're just treating these people differently.
We now know, of course, why Bill Clinton moved to Chappaqua. It could be good for
the Clinton reference was coming out
well,
again.
I think these
Cousin
parents
Vinny
are going
brought
to
it up
suffer at
first.
the hands of the teenagers themselves, because is a parent present will no longer be a reasonable thing to ask your kids. Now parents are going to have to go to the parties with their teenagers.
It was weird listening to them talk about that. They all noted in the stories that girls were in attendance, as if this would have been an okay thing if it had just been a bunch of teenage boys.
It would have been better.
Why is it?
Well, as kids, I'm sorry, Jay,
Well,
go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, what are the kids subjected to? What's so horrible? They saw something that they can see in an NC-17
No,
movie.
no, that's
if you're
crap.
17,
There is a huge difference between watching something on HBO or Showtime and watching a stripper pull pearls out of orifices of her body, which is what was going on here. We're not talking about the Chippendales who were just gyrating. This was
That's right. There was a
disgusting
participatory
stuff.
element to this. That's right.
Look, I'm not going to back it, obviously, but you have it does raise questions about age limits and things. We set this random age at 18. Anything under 18, anyone under 18, they see this, it's horrible. 18, it's fine.
One of the football players said that this has been basically an annual party. Now, in the past, maybe parents weren't actually there, but this is something that I mean, I hate to say it, but it's one of those kind of rites of passages kind of things that people do kind of freak out about.
I totally disagree. I mean, I don't care. It may be an arbitrary age limit, but that's the age limit we have, and parents expect until 18 that they're notified about what's going on with their children. And for one set of parents to make that decision for all the other parents just wasn't appropriate.
And it's 21 for drinking, and it's never for pot. They had illegal drugs at this party, and the parents were overdoing vodka shots with the stripper when the stripper wasn't flat on her back having whipped cream licked off her.
Well, we're going to do some vodka shots right now and take a break.